Good evening. I don't know if there's a way to turn the lights up. I'd love to see you guys before I continue. Aren't they wonderful? They're phenomenal, aren't they? Very, very good. Unbelievable. Well done. I feel like a minor league ball player coming in to go play for the Indians during the World Series after standing up next to these guys. I was asked to come and speak just a few minutes about the heart of these folks and what they'd like to share with you. And as I prayed about it and I asked the Lord what He wanted to deliver, what message He wanted to share with you, instead of bringing out my Bible and bringing out a verse and quote-unquote preaching at you, I just want to tell you a love story. I just want to tell you a story about a groom and his father and his bride. Ages and ages and ages ago, beyond anything we know, God and His Son decided that the Son needed a bride. Now, how does the Son of God get a bride? They had creatures all about them. They had angels galore, but apparently none of them was worthy of being the bride to the Son of God. And so God the Father and God the Son crafted a plan. And they decided that they would make God the Son a bride. Before you do that, though, you have to have a place for the bride to live. So under the Father's guidance, the Son got busy. And He crafted the most wonderful place for His bride to live. And He began to create a universe that just is beyond explanation and beyond our wildest dreams. And out of this huge universe, He picked out just the one planet, just the one place that'd be perfect for His bride. And He began to work on it. But now, at the beginning, that particular planet was a bit of a mess. The word in Hebrew is midbar. It was just a mess. I don't know how else to say it. So He began to work on it, and He split the waters that were hanging all over it so that there was a space above it. And the waters that were left below, He worked on it such that they would all gather into different places, and the dry land would begin to appear. And then He would begin to work on that dry land such that there would be all kinds of vegetation that would come out of that land. And then once He got the planet just right, and the establishment was all good, and the foundation was right, He began to fill it. He began to fill it such that there was plants and there was vegetation, and He filled the waters full of these phenomenal creatures. I mean, creatures of great creation and beauty. And then He filled the skies with birds galore of all sizes and shapes. And then He began to fill the land with creatures almost innumerable. And all of this was wonderful and very good. And this was the place He was going to put His bride. So God the Son sat down, bent down, and He began to craft His bride out of the dirt. And He made this creature to be in His image. And it was very good when He was done. He loved this creature. But it wasn't good enough just to make it alive. He bent down and took this man, this Adam, and He brought it to his face. And He breathed Himself into it. It wasn't just that He made him alive, for the dogs are alive, and the elephants are alive, and the birds are alive, and the fish are alive. No, He took this man and breathed Himself, His essence, into him. In other words, He gave him the kiss of all kisses and put Himself into this man. Now this was a creature that could be a bride to God the Son, for He had God's essence in Him. And now that this man was alive, he said, that the man had to live, and he looked upon the earth, and all the vegetation wasn't really up yet, and so he crafted this little space and made it pop up just nice. So it was pretty. It had great food. It was phenomenal. It was the place for his bride to be, to live. And he put him there and he said, you can have this space. You can have this whole thing. I want you to multiply. I love you. I want you to multiply and fill the entire earth. I love you. And this thing I have created is all yours. You are to care for it. You are to protect it. You are to govern it. I am putting you in charge of this. All of this is yours. The animals are yours. The birds are yours. The fish are yours. The whole thing is yours. And I will come down and I will meet with you in the cool of the day, and we will be together forever. Now, you can have all of this, but I'm just going to ask you for one thing. I just don't want you to eat from this one tree. Love me enough not to eat from this one tree. And they lived there for a long time. But then one of those creatures that was there from ages back, a beautiful creature, I believe was jealous. I can explain it no other way. Because he came on down and he convinced this man and his wife, the bride of the Son of God, to throw it all away and take from that tree. He convinced them that this was going to be better than all of this. And for some inexplicable reason, they did that. They threw it all away and broke God's heart. Well, thankfully, God the Father and God the Son are so wise and so all-knowing and so magnificent and sovereign, they foresaw it coming, even from the very beginning. And so they had a part B to their plan. And their part B was that God the Son would come down to be with his bride once again, but this time in human form, and allow them to kill him. And he made another arrangement. And he said, if you would just believe in me, you can come back to the way it was. If you would just put your faith and trust in me, if you would take all the things that you did and believe that my death on the cross fixes that for you, it can come back to the way it was. And we can live together forever, and the love story can continue. There's nothing to be more thankful for than that. It's one thing to be thankful that God made this great thing for us and gave it all to us, but it's even more for us to be thankful that he gave himself again and died for us to restore us. Man, I'll tell you what, I love my wife, but I don't know that I have that much love in me. God loves us so much that he'd make this place for us. And when we screw it up and we fall and continue to fall, he provided a way for us to come back to the garden and have a love relationship with him, to become the bride of the Son of God again, because you and I don't just have life in us, we have God's essence in us. We have his likeness. We have his image because what else would be good enough to be a bride for the Son of God? Now, you probably have heard that message before, or maybe you've heard that message before, but I don't know if you've thought about it from end to end. As we come into Thanksgiving, it needs to break your heart in gratitude. And I ask you, do you walk in the love relationship God the Son wants to be in with you? Do you walk in the cool of the day with him? If not, it's time to take an accounting and get back where you need to be. If you've never taken the opportunity to say, God, I want to be in a relationship with you. I want to be in that love relationship with you. And I'm willing to accept what you did, and I'm willing to love you to the best of my ability, and I will receive with great thanksgiving and gratitude the things that you've done for me. Then this evening might be that day that you need to get on with business. So at the end of this phenomenal concert, and I got to tell you guys, well done. There will be a few of us down here if you need to talk to somebody. We'd hate to see you leave. So if the Lord's touching your heart, if the music hasn't touched your heart, then maybe this story has touched your heart. And if you want to do some business with God and restore that love relationship or begin that love relationship, don't let this day go by. God loves you. And I am so grateful to have been given the chance to share that with you. So with that, enjoy the magnificent music that these people are sharing with you. Think about this, and maybe, just maybe, we'll meet you in the front at the end. Good night.